You think your script is ready for Hollywood? Well, if the first 10 pages don't read like a pro's work, it won't get a second look. So in this video, I'm going to show you 15 mistakes every serious screenwriter avoids so your opening pages instantly say that you know the craft. And I've been giving tips like this to my students for over a decade. If you want more tips like the ones in this video, be sure to get my weekly newsletter, and there's a link below to sign up for that. Number one, have you ever watched a movie and spent the first 5 minutes just watching the character wake up, they brush their teeth, they pick out an outfit, they head out the door? It's boring, it's predictable, and it's cliche. Worst of all, it tells us nothing about the story and not really anything about the character either. Yet so many new writers think that's how you start. The first scene of your screenplay isn't the time to show a day in the life. I mean, yes, you are showing what the status quo is as quickly as possible and then adding in conflict as quickly as possible. And that's what you should be doing. But the status quo doesn't mean watching the character's whole day from sunrise to sunset. The first page is a time to hook the reader. So number one, don't start with a character waking up. Number two, imagine picking up a thriller, opening to the first scene, and all you get is two characters chatting over coffee with no tension, no stakes, no friction, just nothing. I mean, that's just death on the page. You must have conflict on page one. Conflict doesn't have to mean gunfire or a fight. It does mean a character wants something in that moment and they're having trouble getting it. They're trying to learn a secret or trying to keep one. They're trying to get an upper hand in a power struggle, overcome an obstacle, something, anything, but not nothing. Page one should make the reader lean forward, not sit back. I mean, don't write page one without conflict, or page 2 or 3 or 9 or 7, whatever. You get the point. Number three, if the reader can't tell which character to invest time into, they won't invest time in any of them. And by page 10, it should be abundantly clear whose story it is. And scripts that float between multiple characters with no clear focus read like a draft that hasn't made a decision yet. And indecision, that reads amateur. Don't let a reader get to page 10 still wondering whose story it is. If they don't know by then, they're never gonna know because they'll put the script down, never to be read again. Number four, and along the same lines, the reader should have a pretty good idea what the story is about. Is it a heist or a manhunt for a serial killer, a thriller with a madman stealing jack-o'-lanterns at Halloween? I mean, what is the story about? Now, I'm not saying you need to spell out the ending or give me the entire plot. You definitely shouldn't be doing that. But if the first 10 pages don't establish what world we're in and what kind of story you're telling, no reader will keep reading. Think of it sort of like a movie trailer. It doesn't give everything away, at least it shouldn't, but it makes you want to buy the ticket. So don't let the first 10 pages go by without making it clear what the story is. Number five, imagine applying for a job and handing in your resume in Comic Sans with uneven margins. I mean, it would get chucked immediately. And that's the equivalent of what happens if you have bad or inconsistent formatting in your screenplay. Professional readers are trained to spot it instantly. And once they do, your credibility and authority as a screenwriter who knows what they're doing it's just shot. The reader just assumes that the writing is just going to be sloppy. Now, it's not about being a formatting robot. It's about showing you know the professional expectations and consistencies of format. I mean, just don't fail at formatting or be inconsistent with it. And that includes adjusting your margins so your script is now under 120 pages instead of 143. And you know who you are. 6, this is related to format, but do not lock your script in your screenwriting software. When you do this, it adds scene numbers into your script. And that is something that happens once your script goes into production. Not before. When a reader sees them, they know you're an amateur and that you don't know the difference between a draft that's meant to be read and a draft that's meant to be shot. Just don't number your scenes. I mean, what you should do is get more tips like this through email every week, and you can sign up for that in the link below. 7, you are not the director and you're not standing behind the camera. When you write "we see" or start listing camera angles, you take the reader out of the reading experience and remind them they're just reading words on a page. Great scripts let the story do the work and they let the reader get sucked into and participate in the story. The visuals should come alive without you saying "close on" or "we pan across." Don't use camera angles or we see in your descriptions. Just, there's a lot of better ways to do it. 8 is a bigger one that separates amateurs from pros. Do your pages make the reader want to turn the page? A screenplay should read like a page turner. You can't wait to see what happens next. That means cliffhangers at the bottom of pages, especially on page 1, and a few others in the first 10 pages. Little mysteries sprinkled in, moments of curiosity that pull the reader forward. Every page should whisper, "Don't stop now." So don't forget to use storytelling principles that keep the reader hooked. And one of the ways you do this is to make sure you're using adequate white space and using it to your advantage. And because you're including conflict right on page 1, it's easy to find a cliffhanger moment to force the reader to turn to page 2. Mistake number 9 makes seasoned readers just roll their eyes. Because you're writing a screenplay, you're not trying to get a Pulitzer. But some writers are reliving their glory days of short story or novel writers, and they think their job is to describe everything: the furniture, the clothing, the weather, the exact shade of curtains. That's not screenwriting. That's interior decorating. Your job is to create impressions and emotional responses. A script should read fast, like a movie playing in your head. Dense blocks of text, those are a red flag because they make people slow down. Don't overwrite. Number 10, picture this. You open a script and in the first 2 pages, 15 new names of different characters hit you. Halfway through page 4, you're asking, wait, who's this again? Too many characters too quickly overwhelms the reader. It's like being introduced to an entire wedding party at once and then being quizzed on all their names. You're lucky if you remember the bride and groom. Screenplays work the same way. Don't introduce too many characters at once. 11. Even in sci-fi, fantasy, or horror, we need an anchor. The reader needs an anchor. If you just toss a reader into a bizarre world with no sense or grounding, it feels chaotic at best and confusing at worst. And confused readers, they just put the script down. The trick is to reveal the world through the eyes of the character. District 9, a solid film if you haven't seen it, is about aliens and their refugee home in South Africa. But it doesn't start with alien jargon. It starts with the humans reacting to the aliens being present. Ground us in something familiar before you show us the strange. Don't throw the reader into the world without context. 12, too many scripts give a main character who just reacts to events. And that's just passive storytelling. Readers want to follow someone with drive, even if that person is deeply flawed. Think of Michael Corleone in The Godfather. He doesn't want the life, but he isn't passive. He is actively trying to avoid that life. That's active. And once he steps in, he's making choices that shape the story. Plus, actors, especially A-list actors who you need to get your script made, do not like playing passive characters. They want to be active. They want to be assertive, even aggressive with pursuing what they want. Passive? That's boring. No one likes playing boring, and no one likes reading boring. So don't make your protagonist passive. 13, the antagonist. If your villain or obstacle looks weak, there's no drama. A story is only as strong as its opposition. And the stronger the antagonist, the better. In fact, your antagonist should, on paper, be stronger and able to easily defeat the protagonist. I mean, just think about Darth Vader, or Nurse Ratched, or Anton Sugar. These are villains who look unbeatable. And that's what makes the protagonist's fight matter. If your antagonist is soft, your story has no teeth. Don't make your antagonist too weak. 14, dialogue is where new writers often get exposed. If it sounds stiff or preachy or like it's just trying too hard, the script instantly feels amateur. Dialogue has to feel authentic to the world of the story and to the characters in it. A Wall Street banker just doesn't talk like a kid from the Bronx. A pirate doesn't sound like a lawyer. If it doesn't ring true, it doesn't work. Don't write dialogue that isn't authentic to the world you are creating. 15 matters more than most writers realize. If your first 10 pages read like a rom-com, but halfway through the script it becomes a horror movie, the reader's going to wonder if you even know what you're writing. So the tone has to stay consistent. And this gets into a related element, your voice, the unique point of view that you bring to the story. The best scripts aren't just competent, they're distinctive, and they deliver what they promise. So don't write with an inconsistent tone or a flat voice. And here's a bonus one for you. Every script in the first 10 pages teaches the reader how to read it. If you're going to use a storytelling device later, like a dream sequence, flashbacks, or a montage, something like that, try really hard to introduce that element early on so the reader knows how to process it when it comes up again later. It's like setting the rules of the game. Once the reader understands how you're playing, they'll go along with you. So don't forget you're teaching the reader how to read your script. Now, there's one thing all these mistakes have in common. They make your script a bad read. And if your script isn't a good read, it will never go anywhere. Hollywood doesn't reward effort. It rewards execution. If you want to be taken seriously, your first 10 pages have to read like a pro's work. And one way to help that along is to write with your own authentic writing voice. And in this video, I give you some help to unlock your unique writing voice. And if you want more tips like this one in this video every week, be sure to get my newsletter, which is linked below.